James Parker sat across from his 6-year-old daughter, Lily, at a small, dimly lit diner on the outskirts of town. He traced the cracks in the old wooden table with his finger, his mind heavy with exhaustion. The past year had been a whirlwind of heartbreak and struggle. Ever since his wife, Emily, had left without a trace, he had been juggling 2 jobs just to keep a roof over their heads. It wasn't the life he had envisioned for Lily, but he was doing his best. Tonight was special. He had promised Lily a fancy dinner which, in their world, meant a meal that wasn't reheated from the microwave. The waitress placed a grilled cheese sandwich in front of Lily and a cup of black coffee for James. He couldn't afford much more. Still, the sparkle in Lily's eyes as she picked up her sandwich made his heart swell with warmth. "Daddy, this is the best dinner ever," she chirped, her feet swinging excitedly under the table. James forced a smile. "I'm glad you like it, sweetheart." As they ate, Lily suddenly froze, her bright blue eyes widening as she stared past James toward the far end of the diner. He turned to see what had caught her attention and spotted a well-dressed woman sitting at a table. Her elegant posture and expensive jewelry made her stand out. Across from her sat an older man in a tailored suit, clearly wealthy. James barely had time to react before Lily shot out of her seat, sprinting toward the woman. "Mommy!" she cried, her small voice echoing through the diner. James' heart stopped. Time seemed to freeze as he watched Lily wrap her tiny arms around the woman's waist. The woman's eyes widened in shock as she looked down at the little girl clutching her tightly. James shot to his feet, his chair scraping loudly against the floor. "Lily," he called, rushing over, but the woman's reaction stunned him. Instead of pulling away, she knelt down and cupped Lily's face in her hands. Tears welled in her eyes. "Lily," her voice cracked. James' breath caught in his throat as he took a closer look. The woman before him wasn't just some wealthy diner patrona, it was Emily, the wife who had vanished a year ago, the mother who had left them without a word. His hands clenched into fists. "Emily," he breathed. The older man at the table, who had been silent until now, finally stood. "You know each other?" His voice carried an air of authority. Emily's eyes darted between James and Lily. She looked as if she had seen a ghost. "Dad," she whispered to the man beside her. "This is James, and this is Lily." The billionaire stiffened, his face unreadable, but James noticed the way his jaw tightened. "You left us," James said, his voice laced with pain and confusion. "Where have you been?" Tears slipped down Emily's cheeks as she reached for Lily, brushing strands of golden hair from her face. "I never wanted to leave," she whispered, "but I didn't have a choice." James scoffed. "You didn't have a choice? You walked away from your daughter." Lily clung to Emily's dress, clearly sensing the tension. The billionaire finally spoke. "Perhaps we should sit down and talk." James hesitated, but the way Lily nestled against Emily's side made him follow them back to their table. His heart pounded as he sat across from the woman he had loved, the woman who had shattered him. Emily took a deep breath. "James, I was forced to leave." She looked at the older man beside her. "My father never approved of our marriage. He gave me an ultimatum: leave you and Lily behind, or watch as he destroyed your life." James' fists clenched. "That doesn't make sense. Why didn't you tell me?" Emily's father sighed. "Because I made sure she couldn't. I cut her off completely. I threatened to take Lily away from both of you." His voice held no pride, only regret. James felt like the air had been knocked from his lungs. He had spent the last year resenting Emily, believing she had abandoned them willingly. But now, sitting here, he saw the raw agony in her eyes. "I tried to come back," Emily whispered. "I've been looking for you both. When I saw Lily tonight, I thought I was dreaming." James rubbed his temples, the weight of everything crashing over him, his anger, his hurt, his exhaustion. He looked down at Lily, who clutched Emily's hand, her innocent face filled with hope. "Does this mean Mommy's coming home?" Lily asked softly. Tears slipped down Emily's cheeks. "If Daddy will let me." James swallowed hard. He had spent so long being angry, but at this moment, he realized something: he had never stopped loving her. Emily's father cleared his throat. "I was wrong," he admitted. "I thought I was protecting my daughter. Instead, I stole years from her and broken bar from all of you. I want to make things right." He reached into his pocket and pulled out a checkbook. "You shouldn't have to struggle anymore, James. Let me help." James looked at the check, then at Emily. He saw the silent plea in her eyes, not for money, but for a second chance. Taking a deep breath, James reached for Emily's hand. "Lily and I don't need money. We just need you," Emily sobbed as she pulled him and Lily into a tight embrace. For the first time in a long time, James felt like he could breathe again. The past was painful, but the future held hope. And as he held his little family close, he knew that was all that truly mattered.